Hello everyone, this is your DM Raf, and this is the RPG News, your weekly dose of news about RPG. And today we're gonna talk about, here in the thumbnail, right, is Mordenkaisen's presence Monsters of the Multiverse a cash grab or not? Right, so let's dive in, let's see if it is or not. And so, here, Moro is an official tabletop RPG news. They launch this Monday the in-depth review of the Mordenkaisen's new book, Monsters of the Multiverse, right? And let's see if it is a cash grab or not. And I'm gonna give you guys my opinion right away. And for me, it is. It is just a cash grab. So of course, you guys can disagree with me. It's just my opinion. But I'm gonna talk a little bit about the book and why I think it is a cash grab. So, what is the Monsters of the Multiverse, right? So here in the description you can see that Monsters of the Multiverse is basically a compilation of all the other books that they launched so far, right? The Volos, have the Tomes of Foes, Prince of Apocalypse, and some scenarios too, like Aberon and Mystic Odyssey of Theros. So basically what this book does is a compilation of these monsters that we have in these other books, right? And it put here with like the new rules. They changed some rules about spellcasting, for example, for the monsters. But that's it. That's basically it. It's just a compilation of other material that was already launched. You know, there's nothing new here. It's 261 stat blocks, which is kind of weird because the original Monsters Manual has 500, so it's like almost half of it. So it's kind of weird, but it's okay. They have 33 playable races too, you know. They are not detailed on the player's handbook, but again, they are on like these other materials here. So, you know, it's like nothing new. 33 player races and it's nothing new. And all this concept of changing the rules without actually adding anything is basically what summarizes this book. So for example, I have here the play options with all these races and the new rules that were applied since from Tasha's, right? But again, it's just a few tweaks, you know, just a few tweaks. It's nothing actually worth buying per se, right? And these changes, actually the most substantial changes is not even on the player's base, it's more on the DM's side with the bestiary, where they changed the rules for spellcasting regarding the monsters. Now the monsters, they don't use spell slots anymore, because the original, the monsters that use spells, they use like the player characters, they use spell slots, and so they have all this list of spells and the spell slots, which can be like complicated for the DMs, especially new DMs, where you have to run like 2 or 3 spellcasters at the same time in the same battle, could be overwhelming. And these new rules that change the spell to abilities, basically, really helps the DM to run like multiple casters, for example, in the same combat, right? So here he has some examples of these changes. I'm gonna leave the link in the description so you guys can check it out for yourselves. But in the article, he gave the score of B+, which I don't think it's fair. I mean, not in my opinion. I mean, B+ for a book that presents nothing new, it's weird. It's full price and nothing new. I mean, that's what's wrong with this book, right? Have you ever went to those meetings in your company that you felt like, okay, this meeting could have been an email, you know, like we don't need to make a meeting only to address these issues. I think it's the same thing with this book. Like, you don't need an entire new book only to make these few changes. You know, this book should be a errata, you know, and not, or just a compilation, a free PDF, something like that. And that's why I think this is just a cash grab. You know, they took something they already have done and just repack it, and they're selling it. Not even the arts are new. They have a couple of new arts, but the majority of the arts came actually from the other books that they have already launched. So that's why I think, yes, Monster of the Multiverse is a cash grab. But of course, that's just my opinion. You can leave it in the comments. What do you think? Are you going to buy it or not? Let's see what the future holds for D&D. And still talking about D&D, let's go to our next news. The article of the week: convert older D&D into 5e. I'm gonna leave the link in the description, of course. And in this article, you can work through the whole conversion of your adventure, right? So you have the conversion for players, like how to convert the level, the race, the classes, alright? You also have the conversion for DMs, with ability score, feats, spells, and all you need to make this conversion. And another thing that I think was pretty cool that they did was two types of conversions, right? You have the careful conversions, and you have the quick conversions, right? On the careful conversions, you have a more detailed conversion steps that you can do to make a more truthful conversion, right? And on the quick conversions, they have some instructions for you to basically convert on the fly, you know. So you can pick your style and see what type of conversion you actually want to make, and follow the steps, and boom, your old adventure is ready to be played with 5e, right? And an extra, they put these tables here that I thought was pretty interesting. If you were a 5e character, what ability score would you have? So you can like see, assess, like in real life, what your ability scores are, right? And I discovered that I'm basically a commoner, right? I have those in the RPG of life. I am those NPCs with the commoner instead of the name on the top of their heads. That's basically me, average Joe all the way through. Now moving to our Kickstarter of the week, we have Vulcania, a RPG that's focused on like cinematic action, right? Vulcania is a magma punk. I didn't know what magma punk was until now, but yes, the idea of Vulcania is to be more like cinematic action investigation driven game, where you have basically a post-apocalyptic world, sort of like Mad Max, but with water. And you have the classes when you can be a soldier, a scientist, or scoundrel even. You can use your wits and your knowledge of the world, your secrets, to create new objects, right? And the art is amazing. Is very unique, and the system is very different too, with more focus on the agility, with focus on fast pacing combat. So if you want to play a very different action-packed post-apocalyptic RPG, maybe Vulcania could be your next option. Alright, Dragonistas and Dragons, that was our RPG news of this week. See you guys on the next week. Kisses on the cheek, bye!